Alrighty then, here we go. It's another early day. I am ready to make it a good one. I had a migraine last night, and so I went straight to bed when I got home, which is never fun because I didn't do all the stuff that I wanted to do. And then of course I proceeded to wake up at like 3 in the morning this morning, and so now staying up tonight when I get home from work is going to be difficult. But I know what caused the migraine, which is refreshing. I did not eat very well, both the day prior and the day of. So like the day before, all I had to eat was, well, I had my lunch, which was a slice of lasagna. I got home and I ate some bread and potato chips, and I hadn't actually made dinner at that point. So I proceeded to make dinner, but then like by the time dinner was ready, I was not particularly hungry. And so I was like, well, there's no sense in forcing myself to eat food right now. I guess I'll just call it and I'll eat later or not at all. Well, I went with not at all. And so I went to bed, hadn't eaten anything, but like I said, didn't really feel hungry, so it didn't really bother me. And then I woke up the next day and I had one of my signature fruit smoothies, which I try to start most every morning off with one of those. And for the most part, it works really well. Obviously, there's days where I forget or I don't make the smoothie or whatever. But the mornings that I do that, it seems to be a pretty solid morning. So I've fought with migraines since like the 7th grade, and I recently went to see my general practice doctor, and she had informed me that the most common, because I wanted to try and find like a natural way to solve this problem. I hate taking medicine, especially any more medicine that I need to, and so she had told me that the best way to fight them naturally is to it'll come to me, is because of like a protein deficiency or because I'm dehydrated. And so she highly recommended that I hydrate very often and that I make sure that I have plenty of protein. And so since then I've been putting protein in my fruit smoothies, and I've been trying to drink 16 ounces of water every hour, which is kind of double what we should be doing. So if I aim for double and I cut myself short, then at least I will be still doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I know the water was not a particular issue these last couple days, but the hunger thing really was. And like I was lazy, and so for lunch yesterday I only packed myself a single slice of lasagna, but that's like partially laziness and partial unpreparedness. When I went to the store to buy all my food for the week, I didn't think to buy like sides for my lunches, because usually I have a bit more of a lunch than just lasagna. And so I was like, okay, well, I kind of did this to myself. I didn't eat very well last night, and I'm not eating very well today. And then I was working in a hot, yucky environment all day, and I knew it was coming, which was weird because I almost never get them until the end of my work day. And then of course, like when I get home, my whole day at home is completely shot. And because I knew that hunger was the cause, I couldn't go to bed without having eaten something, because then that would just exacerbate the problem. And so I had to basically force myself to eat something, because as the migraines progress and as they get worse, they like kill my appetite and I don't feel hungry, and sometimes I even feel like nauseous, and like if I eat something I feel like I'm just going to throw it back up. Thankfully I've not actually had the problem of throwing something up in that regards, and so being able to keep food down has not been an issue. It's been mind over matter on that one. But in terms of everything else, there's really so much I can do, and my head is just absolutely aching like that. And so that's what I did, is I curled up and went to bed at like 7 o'clock, and I woke up at 3 in the morning, and I tried to do some catch up in the morning. I made the slaw that I needed to make. I got through a couple chapters of My Brother Kanan, which I've been editing, and then I was able to roll into a normal day. And there are times where doing that feels better to me than my traditional work schedule. I've always said that I like waking up to my time off instead of coming home from my time off. And so part of me is like, if I just went to bed when I got home and then woke up in the middle of the night or way early in the morning and did all my morning stuff, like, I would probably be a much more productive individual. And that's always been kind of the case for me. And that's why, like, for years I preferred working the evenings, because I would wake up to my time off, do everything I wanted to do for myself when I was fresh for the day, and then come to work, versus this current schedule where I come to work fresh for the day and then I come home exhausted and I'm trying to do all the things that I want to do for myself. And so that would be an ideal schedule for me to maintain and for me to be able to accomplish. But unfortunately, it's not that evenings are hard to come by. It's I've promoted myself into this trap where there is not really an evening role for the role that I fulfill. And that's fine. I'll just deal with that. But it is an interesting thing, because I'm like, well, maybe I can modify my sleep schedule so that I go to bed as soon as I get home from work, wake up, and I'm still doing stuff fresh for the day, and then I go to work. And the other thing that modified sleep schedule does is it kills my social life, which is equal parts good and bad. Obviously, I like being a social individual. I have friends that I talk to, whether it be on the phone or on Xbox or whatever it might be. And if I am awake in these very weird, odd hours of the night, then it doesn't really affect me in that regards. And because that's the other thing, these past couple days, I have purposely avoided talking to any of my friends on Xbox, because I know that will spiral into just long hours of unproductivity, and that's not what I want. Especially, I'm pretty dang close to being done with My Brother Kanan's this round of edits, and then I'm probably going to go ahead and send it to the other editor. I was debating, I have two editors. I have a line editor and I have a content editor. And I usually do the line editor first, let her get all of her stuff out of the way, then I do the content guy, and sometimes I will do a follow-up with the content guy. And this one in particular, I feel like needs a follow-up, because I've never done literary fiction before. And so with this being my first attempt at literary fiction, I decided that I'm going to do the follow-up, especially because the content editor had me changing quite a bit of stuff, and not stuff that I necessarily disagree with either. And so I did a lot of changes and made a lot of different things happen, and then hopefully I can send it to her, get her thoughts and opinions on it. Biggest reason why I'm sending it to her is because this book takes place in the present tense, and I don't write a lot in the present tense, and I find myself slipping into the past tense a lot. And my editor did a good chunk of heavy lifting to fix that, but I'm still catching a lot of things that he's missing. And so I'm like, okay, if I missed stuff the first go around, he missed stuff the second go around, and then I'm catching stuff the third go around, surely there's probably more instances of me slipping into the past point of view. And so I'm going to probably send it to this other lady in March, and then go ahead and have her start going through it. And I'm going to have her pay attention to some of the points that the other editor told me were weak points of the novel. You spend a lot of time in the narrator's head in this book, and I did that on purpose, and I created the narrator as this overthinking, slightly obnoxious person. And although my first editor realizes that's realistic, and a lot of people do overthink things 100 million times in their head, he's like, it's a bit much when it's on the page. Now, obviously, I don't do 100 million redundant thought processes in this guy's head, though I do spend a decent chunk of this book in his head. And the editor's biggest piece of advice was to actually try and build out more scenes and have more of the drama happening on screen, so to speak, rather than in his head. And I think I did do that. I did not do as major an overhaul of the entire thing as I might have initially thought I was going to, though I did add some critical scenes to the book, and I'm trying to weave in better content in order to see like where we're getting there. And so hopefully when I get to the point with the new version of the book and the new editor, she can give me some good pointers as well. And if I find that she's saying kind of the same stuff that this other guy was saying, then I might have to do a bit more of an overhaul of this book. I think Healers 2 was the book that's gotten the biggest overhaul. It was not in a place that I liked it at all when I initially tried to publish it. And then I went ahead and I took it to the editors and I was like, I hate this book right now. Please let me like it. And so after working with them, we were able to turn it into a story that I'm actually very proud of. And so hopefully we can get even better with this book as well. Someone has pulled over right off the side of the highway. That's safe. I will just try and merge off the highway and not run into you. That's probably not the best place to pull people over, but I'm not going to pretend to know what the best place is. Taking you guys a little bit on a different route this morning, I have to go to our alternate storage location and pick up some stuff that we need. And then I've got to figure out how I'm going to carry it into the building, because every time I try and park close to the building so that I don't have to haul stuff, I get yelled at. And so that's never any fun. I'm trying to hold my camera and stabilize it for you. I hope this is working, because I find that sometimes I'm watching these videos back on YouTube and they're bumping very violently. And so, like, I know one thing that, like, a lot of people who watch Sam Sulek or Dry Creek Wrangler School say that they're not really even watching it, they're just kind of listening. And so hopefully the listening quality is good enough, but I don't want it to be like, oh, I physically can't watch this video because the camera shakes so much it makes me sick. So hopefully my my stabilization works. I didn't really realize just how bumpy of a ride it was until going back and watching it, and I was like, yeah, this is probably not exactly comfortable, but we'll get there. I would take you guys inside. This is not the right building. I do this every time. I would take you guys inside, but there's not much for you to see, and I don't think my employer would be cool if I took a camera into one of their warehouses and was like, look at this warehouse, ah! And so I'm not going to do that. But who knows, maybe one day when I get stupid famous, my employer will be like, I don't care, take a camera anywhere, it's good publicity. Because it's not like I'm not trying to like make something look bad or anything. I'm just trying to create good content for you guys and interesting content and give you a nice slice of my life. So at any rate, I am going to go into there and I am going to, wow, that was a 4-minute less of a drive. I didn't realize that this was that much closer to my house than the other place I usually drive to is. But at any rate, I'm going to go in there and try and see if I can find what I need to find. I might turn you guys back on when I get back. I don't know. We'll see.